Thanks for tuning in. Today's project is removing the exhaust manifold. Following these basic steps will help you do this job quickly and easily. The first step is to drive your Merak till the fuel tanks are nearly empty before removing the exhaust manifold. To empty the fuel tanks, clamp the fuel hose here and disconnect here. You can use some copper tubing as a connector to the secondary fuel line that can be then fed into an appropriate fuel container. Once everything is properly secured, actuate the electronic fuel pump by turning the ignition to the power on position. Undo the 4 securing screws here, here, and here, and at the top. And then the last part is to undo this clip right here. Collapse that and undo like that. Please be aware that these heat shields originally are layered with asbestos, so all appropriate safety precautions need to be used. We can pry the bolt out like this. You can also, if it's stubborn, you can put a wrench here and then tap it out. Tap that one out. And now we're ready to drop the A-arm, tap it on down. You might get a little fuel that will pour out of here, but it'll be pretty minimal. So that gets disconnected, and you'll need to do that in order to get the exhaust manifold out. The whole idea here is to get the front part of the flange past these 2 openings into this area right here, and then you lead it out with the rear part of the flange right in this area, so it looks something like this. Okay, I'm working it out, making sure that I can get that flange here, and then lower it, lead out with the rear part of the flange, and out it comes. Before removing the left exhaust, you will need to disconnect several more things, and it will also depend on what type of exhaust manifold you are dealing with. You will need to disconnect the emergency brake assembly by undoing this securing bolt here. So it's secured at the top with a nut. We're going to go ahead and pull this out, like that. And I'm going to pull this back a little bit and just let that hang loose like that. Next, you will need to undo and remove the tubing that connects the left gas tank with the balancing pipe. If you are removing the exhaust manifold with the thermal chamber, there are several additional steps that need to be taken. Of the 6 manifold securing studs, the top middle will be blocked by the starter motor. Do the following to detach the starter motor from the 2 mounting studs. Disconnect the battery on both the positive and negative ends. Remove the heat shield and bracket to the starter motor. Bracket looks like that. The bottom stud for the starter motor is located right there. The top mounting stud for the starter motor is located right here. And in order to access that, you will need to put a board underneath the sump pan and lift the engine up maybe an inch, maybe a half an inch, and once it clears the motor mount, you'll be able to then disconnect that connection. Let's reach in and pull that starter motor back, get things out of the way. I will tell you it's a little heavy, so be careful. There we go. Like we said, we're going to lead in with the, just like on the other side with the front of the flange, we're going to lead it out, and this side, as you see, is really easy to remove.